These are the plaintiffs, August and Lynn Piazza. They say they bought a Jeep from a rip-off used car salesman defendant and are very unhappy he took advantage of them the way he did. The car doesn't even go in reverse. He got stuck on a major bridge, and even the guy's salesman confessed the defendant is a scammer. They're suing for $2,157.20, the amount they gave the creep for the Jeep. This is the defendant, Bruce Casagrande. He says the plaintiffs must have moved to Fantasyland and don't know the zip code because they're out of their minds. The vehicle they purchased passed inspection. He gave them a 30-day warranty, and he always does everything the law requires him to do. He's been selling cars for some time now and knows what he's doing. Thank you very much. He's accused of selling a hunk of junk.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiffs bought a Jeep from the defendant, a used car salesman, and says it was a disaster. But the defendant says the Jeep was in tip-top shape, and the plaintiffs don't know squat about vehicles. It's the case of Jeepers Creeper.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, August and Lynn Piazza.
Yes.
You are suing the defendant's auto sales shop. You've asked us not to use your shop's name, and we'll respect that. Represented here by Bruce Casagrande?
Correct.
Okay. For $2,157.20 that you say you were out as a result of him selling you a lemon. Tell me what happened.
Correct. Okay, so on September 13th, we had purchased a 1994 Jeep Wrangler from the defendant's used car dealership, and we picked it up on the 16th. So the day after pickup, I had called the defendant's shop, and I stated the following items were not working. The rear defroster, there was water leaking from the dashboard, the rear wiper was not working, the passenger door lock was not working.
Did you notice those things though before you bought it?
I did not notice that before I bought it, no. But the passenger seatbelt wasn't working, and then I also wrote a note saying that every time I took my foot off the gas, the transmission would make a clicking noise. So I dropped.
When you say you wrote a note where?
Well, when I dropped it off for service, I wrote a note of everything that.
Do you have I mean, I assume service wrote you a receipt with all of your complaints, right?
Well, what happens is he doesn't do the service himself. He actually farms it out to a service shop next door to him.
Okay, so whoever you left the car with and told them the complaints, did you not get a piece of paper from them?
I did not, and I actually called them 4 times over the last 2 weeks to try and get the service records.
Why would you leave the place without that piece of paper recording what your complaints are? That's going to end up being a contention here.
Okay.
Or what's the name of the place where he took it to?
He drops it at our shop.
He drops it at your shop?
Yes.
And you're saying you dropped it somewhere other than his shop?
Well, I dropped it off there's actually a service shop next door that he uses.
Okay. Is that your shop too?
We do subcontract out most of the
subcontract. So he drops it off next door, and next door doesn't give him paperwork saying what it is? They do. Can I see the paperwork? And that would have been what day that you brought it back the first time?
The first time I brought it back was that following Sunday, the 19th.
Okay. So you bring it in on 9/19.
Right, bringing it in on 9/19. I picked it up the following on the 22nd. It actually stalled on the way home. The transmission was still making the noise. The idle was still rough. So I called the shop again, and I dropped it off the following Sunday, the 26th. So on the 26th, they replaced the IAC control, which I don't know, maybe Bruce
What's
can
an
explain.
IAC control?
Idle air controller. It has to do with how the idle on the vehicle works, whether it's idling too high or too low.
Okay.
It adjusts according to the computer.
So what did you guys do with that?
We replaced it.
You replaced it?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Right, they replaced it.
And what about his complaint about the transmission?
There was nothing wrong with the transmission.
But he complained about the transmission,
No, he
right?
did not.
He did not.
I have his handwritten as well as
let's see that. Okay, passenger door lock broken. Passenger seatbelt does not retract. Where's the part about the transmission you said you complained about?
I guess I thought it was on that handwritten list, but I guess
it's not. You want to see it?
Okay.
All right, and here's the 9/26. This is not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for 9/19. Okay. Customer says roof leaks water. Check and advise. Customer says passenger side door lock doesn't work. Check and advise. Get price. AC not working. We owe. Okay. Now, this is 9/19. Take it in. No mention of the transmission.
Okay.
All right. Now, you have to take it back in the next Sunday, which is 9/26.
Right.
On that day, passenger side door lock doesn't work. Please check and advise. Seatbelt doesn't retract. Fixed.
No.
It says here fixed.
Absolutely. It was fixed.
Check engine light comes on when driving if press gas hard. Stalled while turning, IAC, covered. That's when they put in the IAC.
Right, that's when they put in that.
Rear defroster clicks on but doesn't remove fog, and then it says fixed. Did that get fixed?
No, the button does click on, like it is getting power, but the window didn't remove the fog.
Do you have proof that you had to fix the rear defroster elsewhere?
No, because I actually haven't got it fixed yet.
How about just proof that it needs fixing? As opposed to you're just mad at them and then you're going to say everything they fixed and
No, I
they
don't have
report
proof
it as
that it needs
fixed.
fixing.
Okay. All right, so now we're past 9/26.
Right.
Okay, we're halfway into the warranty period.
Okay.
Something goes wrong on 10/9, correct?
Yes, I drive it into work. I work in the city. I get over the Williamsburg Bridge. It stalls. When I got off the Williamsburg Bridge, the truck died. So I had to call a tow truck. So I had called Bruce, left a few messages for him. I had a choice. When I called the local tow company, I had two choices. Either spend almost $500 to tow it back to the defendant to have it fixed, which I haven't heard from him yet, or pay $100 and have it towed to this guy's repair shop. So I have the bills of what was wrong.
What's your warranty say, though?
I didn't specifically read that part.
What does the warranty say?
Warranty says the dealer or the lessor will pay 100% of the parts and labor bills to repair, or at the election of the dealer or lessor, reimburse the purchaser for the reasonable cost of repairing the failure of a covered part listed on the
Do you
reverse
elect
side.
to pay for him repairing it elsewhere?
Excuse me? I
Do
didn't-
you elect
No.
to pay for Didn't see that coming.
Okay, do used car salesmen deserve the reputation they have?
No, they don't. It's always up to the buyer to beware.
Okay, just buyer beware, period.
I disagree. I think you go into that profession because you're a smooth talker, you've got a way with people, and you take advantage.
Fair enough. 2 points of view going inside the courtroom.
Once the customer picks up the vehicle, he is covered for 30 days or 1,000 miles under the warranty period, which covers specific items. When Mr. Piazza brought the vehicle back for those items to be fixed, such as an alignment, such as his seatbelt cover, such as his rear wiper, none of those items were covered under New York State warranty. But we did repair those items.
The seatbelt's not part. I'm sorry, hold on. The seatbelt's not.
Cover, no, seatbelt was fixed, but the seatbelt cover he was complaining about, the radio happened
Right,
to be.
hold on one second. The seatbelt you say was fixed, and the rear defroster was fixed. Those are two items that you say were fixed. You say now they still don't work, right?
Right,
Or they
don't
were
work.
never fixed.
I never had the rear defroster fixed, but I actually purchased through eBay a used passenger seatbelt.
Can I see that?
I don't have it with me. Sorry.
Dude, I want to help you, but you have to help yourself. It's like, Lord, let me win the lottery. Lord, let me win the lottery. Lord, let me win the lottery. And the Lord finally answers you, buy a ticket. Are you kidding me? Each time I ask you whether you have a scintilla of proof of what you're saying,
Right.
I'm ready. I'm signing on. I'm ready to say, wait a second, you guys had a chance to fix a seatbelt and you didn't because look, he can prove that it was still broke. You know, come on.
Okay, well, again, under the Lemon Law, from my understanding, if you bring a car in for something 4 times within that 30-day period, it should be covered under Lemon Law. Am I correct?
There's no question.
Okay,
Here's
so
the
that's
problem.
the 4th time.
What is it? Just a second. Now, you brought it in several times to him. The problem that I'm having is I have to look at what you brought it in for.
Right.
For example, you are suing because you want him to pay for $1,500 for a transmission. I ask you, prove to me that within the 30 days you complain about the transmission.
Right.
Can you?
Just a verbal conversation, that's what it was.
They wouldn't give us
You told me it was in
documentation.
writing and it was
Well,
on your
that's-
list. When I looked at your handwritten list, it's not even in there. So
Right,
that's not
that's
true.
what I had thought- that's
so
what
you're
I
going to have a
thought.
hard time proving that one.
Okay.
Watch this. Did he ever complain about the transmission in the first 30 days? Right, exactly. But here's the problem. You can make a face and be, but the truth of the matter is I have the list in your handwriting of what you complained about and it's not there.
Okay.
That's a biggie, okay? You're out of gas. Sorry, my verdict is for the defendant.
All right, hold where you are, please.
Well, here they come on the losing end of the decision here. This verdict is in, and it goes for the defendant. What's your reaction to this?
No, obviously not happy with the verdict. I think, with the New York State Lemon Law, when you bring something in 4 times for service on the same, the same problem, it should be covered. I mean, it was in for service 4 times on the same thing within the first 30 days.
Yeah, I know. But this verdict, do you understand why the verdict went against you?
I understand,
Yeah. All
yes.
right. And so how do you feel about buying a used car from this gentleman?
Well, I don't think I'd buy from him again.
Maybe go for a nice new car, you know.
Right.
All right, right around the corner
All right,
there.
thank you very much.
Head on out. Good luck. All right, so come on in here and Not a happy customer. He just said he wouldn't buy from you again.
Well, that's unfortunate, but as you can see in the case, we did a lot more things than we were obligated to. It's a used vehicle. You have to expect that there are going to be some used parts on it.
Harvey?
FYI, you have more rights when you buy from a used car salesman as opposed to a private party.